Hi, this is my cultural identity presentation. I just wanted to jump on and show you my face because apparently my video was not on during the presentation that I just recorded. So here it is. Hello, my name is Sarah Ginn and this is my presentation on my cultural identity. So looking at all the different categories, starting with exceptionality, I said I had about 5% that contributed to my cultural identity, 20% of my gender, ethnicity is at 10%, age is at 20%, my sexual orientation is at 3%, geography at 15%, my social class at 12%, language at 10%, and then lastly, religion with 5%. So breaking it down with exceptionality at 5%, I don't think this really plays a part in my own cultural identity because I'm not living with a disability or any kind of giftedness. But I think it's definitely something like I'm aware that I'm fortunate to not be having like a disability because the real world is not exactly adapted to people with disabilities. So I think in that way it's something that it plays a part in me because I don't have to like adapt to different circumstances. But again, it's not something that I'm thinking about constantly, so I don't think it plays a huge part in my life. Looking at gender, I'd say I have about 20% of my 20% of my cultural identity comes from my gender. I'd say this because I fit into a lot of like the stereotyped female gender roles. I don't know, I think just like being a female, I think I am I just fit into the stereotypes that I think that are the gender roles of a female. But I do think growing up, I think I was kind of shaped by that because I have 4 brothers. I think I was introduced more to like more male like interests at a younger age, but growing up I've kind of formed my own identity into the stereotypes of female. And looking at my ethnicity, I'd say that only plays about 10% because I don't really know I don't know where my ancestors are from. I just know that I'm from America. That's really all the history that I have for myself. But I think definitely in society with my ethnicity, I've been able to have a lot of privilege. And I don't think I was really aware of that until just recently in the last year or so with the Black Lives Matter movement that's come out with the way people of different ethnicities, specifically Black and African American people, are treated. I think I was kind of like unknowingly shaped by my ethnicity in that way. Like I have and people have different opinions of me based on like stereotypes, and personally I think I have a different understanding. Like I think America is my culture, but I guess not, like thinking about it more on like a deeper level, America is a combination of all kinds of different cultures, and it's kind of like the melting pot, as we've said before. And looking at my age, I think that plays honestly a huge part in my own cultural identity, not because of the age I'm at currently, but because of the age like in relativity to like people around me, I guess. I am the youngest of all my siblings. I put a picture here of my brothers and I. So there's 2 of them, and then here's the other 2. I am the youngest by almost, I think, 11 years, and I think in that way my family's kind of treated me more mature, and in my own like home life I've been treated as I'm older. But in work life, I work at a daycare. I work with a lot of older people and moms especially, and they don't really value my opinion, it seems like, which is kind of shocking. And I think just the like my age plays a huge part in that. I think a lot of days they look at me and they realize how young I am, and they don't really trust my opinion even though I have a lot of experience and sometimes more education than them. It's kind of shocking sometimes to see just how much people will belittle me because of my age and like their perceived expectation that I don't really know what I'm talking about, which is tough sometimes, but I know that I have reliable opinions, so I'm pretty confident what I have to say. But it's definitely like weird to see people who aren't like who dismiss me so fast. I think that's one of like the biggest, because I'm not a minority really in any other way. I just don't have that, like, I'm a white female. I don't think I have that much like ignorance in society typically, but with my age, I think people definitely portray me as kind of having lower expectations, which I don't like. And then my sexual orientation, I don't think it plays a huge part in my life. The straight female, I just really don't see that it's seen as normal, and it's not something that's ever really thought about too much. Yeah, that one doesn't play a huge part. Looking at my geography, at first I was like, my geography doesn't play a huge part, but thinking about it more, it really has shaped who I am, and definitely some of my interests, I think. So that's why I put it up at a higher percentage of 15%. I think I definitely feel a lot more connected to where I live than I realized. Like, I had gone away for school. My very first semester, I had transferred about 2.5 hours away, but I was there and I just didn't feel like a part of their community. I know it takes time, but I really missed my hometown, and I was homesick all the time. I think my physical geography of where I've grown up has really shaped me. Living in the same town for almost 20 years and not really experiencing many changes has really driven me to connect with my hometown, which is Hanover, Pennsylvania. And then two, with my geography, I think obviously where I lived decided where I went to school, and that really shaped me. Being in a small school with the same people almost since kindergarten, like there was obviously a few that changed, but growing up with the same people around me all the time really made me connected to my area, and I think made like a strong connection to my hometown overall. And looking at my social class, I rated that a little bit higher as well, because I think it was something that growing up I didn't really understand, that I was so privileged to be in the social class that I was, but I guess with my family I'd say we're like upper middle class, but because of going back to my age as well, I was the youngest of my brothers, and they had all grown, they were out of the house at that point, so I was really like an only child growing up, and like once I started having interest in like after school activities or extracurriculars, I wasn't really forced to make any decisions where I had to decide, was I going to go work, or was I going to go to like hockey practice, or did I have to stay home and babysit my younger siblings because my parents had to work extra. That wasn't something that I really had to consider growing up. I think that was a big privilege for me, especially because I don't think I really understood the value of being able to do what I was doing, where I just got to do it because I was interested and I had the time to do it. That was kind of the only deciding factors. It wasn't like a money issue, it wasn't valuing work over school or work over home life. I was able to do it, which I was really thankful for, especially during high school. And then looking at my language, I think, again, it's one of those factors that I didn't really consider at first to be such a part in my cultural identity, but knowing where I've grown up and knowing like just on like a worldly level that English is one of the most popular languages, I think it really has helped me to be able to communicate myself more and to be able to learn because of the language that I have always grown up with. A lot of research is done and like published in English, and it's hard to transfer or translate some of the languages, so I think being fortunate enough to speak English and understand English is definitely a huge privilege that I have. I think too with like where I've grown up, being able to understand the English language from birth pretty much and have everyone around me speaking the same language has really helped, and is something that's again a privilege of mine, at least where I've grown up. And then looking at religion, religion doesn't play a huge part in my life. I think it was kind of something that was just always put on the back burner in my family, at least, and growing up, and I haven't really grown into my own religion, I don't think. Looking at my family specifically and like specific religious events and like my own experiences, we go to church on Christmas, and that's about it. And I would do some summer camps, but that was more because I had friends in it and not necessarily at a religious level. But I could see how like religion would contribute to someone's cultural identity. It just doesn't contribute much to mine. And then here's a look at the pie chart again, looking at my cultural identity. The biggest players are my geography, age, gender, and class. And again, I think gender is just such a large one because of the societal standards for gender. And I think I definitely fit into them. My age is something that I've been kind of belittled because of, I'd say, just because of my work environment. I'm not trusted a lot because of my age. My geography, like I said, it determined where I went to school, and that really shaped my own, interests and my traditions, kind of, and, expectations for my life. And then looking at class, it was something that was growing up, it wasn't acknowledged, but now, looking back on it, I really value and think that has shaped who I am as a person, especially. And that's all. Thank you.